I believe it's.
That was a nice. Yeah, it was good.
Supporting documents.
Okay, everyone, good evening and welcome to the City of Angola Plan Commission meeting for November 12th. May I have a roll call, please?
Burl Carpenter.
Present.
Amanda Cope.
Here.
Josh Fletcher.
Present.
Tina King.
Present.
Jack Rana.
Here.
Jennifer Sharkey.
Here.
Brant Moore. Jeff Peters. Susan Ralston.
Here.
Steve White. Nick Sutton.
Here.
Austin Boudreau.
Okay, so confirmation of quorum.
That's one.
So everyone should have received the minutes from the email that Brett sent out. So if I could have a motion to approve, please. Okay, a second? Nick second. Okay. Okay, it looks like we do have some old business here. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'd like to just briefly go over the outline on how the meeting is run. So we'll ask for the planning staff to read the staff report, and from there, we'll ask the commission if there are any questions of the staff. Then the petitioner to present their application with any additional information. And then they'll be asked the commission if there's any questions for the petitioner. At that point, if there is none, or if we've gone through those, then we will close that session. And then we will then ask for any kind of a response. Then anybody from the audience can then participate and ask questions if necessary. Okay. And then we'll read the correspondence, if any. Then we'll close the public hearing. And then the members may discuss anything that needs to be done. And then the finding of the facts will be read and discussed and then voted upon. At that point, we'll entertain the motion and then we call for a vote. All right. So may we have the first case, please?
Yes. The first for this evening is old business. It's going to be case 2024 PC 10001, seeking development plan. The applicant was JICI and the owner is Cameron Memorial Hospital. The target location or project location is 303 South Euclid Street. Current zoning is institutional. The original scheduled meeting date was for October 14th and was postponed until today's meeting, November 12th. Legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on October 4th. 27 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent their legal notice on October 3rd. Applicable code provision is Title 18 of the UDO and Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4-1400 series. The project is not located within the floodplain and staff recommendation is conditional approval. In May of 2023, Cameron Memorial Community Hospital initiated an expansion project to construct a 37,000 square foot addition to house the new education innovation facility. To address the increased parking demand during construction, a gravel temporary parking lot was established. This temporary parking lot was a recorded commitment in accordance with Indiana Code 36-7-4-1015 that Cameron Hospital would use the lot for employee and contractor parking during the construction permit period, not to exceed October 31st, 2024, at which time the temporary lot shall be returned to grass or a permanent improvement. The final design of the temporary lot was approved by the Director of Angola Economic and Development and Planning, along with the city engineer. Today, the temporary parking lot remains in use to support the ongoing construction of the education and innovation facility. The petitioner is requesting to convert the temporary parking lot into a permanent parking lot that can be utilized by the entire Cameron campus, adhering to the recorded commitment. The conversion to a permanent lot will not happen before October 31st, 2024. However, the petitioner has initiated the approval process for this change. Construction is anticipated to be finished promptly. The temporary parking lot access point is strictly from Euclid Street, from an approach that was existing well before development. The lot consists of 64 parking stalls surrounding the hospital's wellness garden and a garage on the parcel, as outlined in the image below. Next, we move into the site plan. Cameron Hospital is planning to renovate its parking area by replacing the current limestone parking lot with asphalt. Additionally, the hospital proposes to demolish the existing garage accessible from South Street. The new asphalt parking lot will include parking stalls for 8 motorcycles, 73 vehicles, and landscaping. The footprint of the parking lot will be slightly larger than the existing dimension to encompass the decommissioned garage footprint. Access to the parking lot will be exclusively from South Street, utilizing a wide existing driveway and eliminating the Euclid Street entrance. The concrete approach on Euclid Street will be restored to grass. Although the plan didn't specify the quality of ADA, we did receive comment back that they're going to address all ADA parking lot on the main campus parking lot, and this parking lot won't embrace, but they're adhering to the rules set by the ADA and have proposed designated spots to encompass for the new parking stalls. They'll put the ADA on the main campus lots. We received those comments more, and the petitioner's here and can speak more if you have questions on that. But that was a comment late in the day. Next is landscaping. Landscaping strategically positions trees and shrubs to enhance visibility of the parking lot from the street. Additionally, greenery along the western property line helps to screen the parking area from neighboring properties, while ensuring all landscaping is carefully placed to avoid interfering with utilities and easements. Next are a couple aerial images of the parking lot today, if you are not familiar. Captured from the intersection of Euclid and South Street looking southeast, and then one directly over the property, how it's utilized today. Contextual zoning and land use, as mentioned, the property is zoned IS institutional. To the north is the main campus of Cameron, and then across US Highway 20 is traditional residential. To the east, traditional residential in the Angola Park and Rec. To the south is traditional residential, some R4 residential, and a vacant institutional parcel owned by Cameron Hospital. And then furthermore, the Angola Kids League ballpark to the south, along with Henry Park Elementary. To the west, there's traditional residential and the Steuben County government buildings. The project is outlined by a star on the map. This project speaks to the comprehensive plan to encourage redevelopment of underutilized or vacant lots and inspire community image by promoting the city's best assets. Along with your packet and uploaded to the upcoming plan release and meeting documents from last month was an email we received from a neighboring concerned citizen. It was attached with your packets here to read. He was in the affirmative of the project, just making sure the screening was in place for the landscaping because the headlights hitting his residence and things of that nature. In conclusion, staff is supportive of the request. The parking area has played a vital role in supporting Cameron Hospital existing operations and expansion efforts. By providing a convenient and accessible parking solution, the hospital has been able to accommodate the increased demand during construction of the education and innovation facility and well into the future. Additionally, the project reflects the hospital's signed commitment to transform the gravel lot to an adequate permanent improvement. We do recommend conditional approval that all of our comments are adequately addressed, such as the ADA accessibility standards I spoke to earlier. Any questions for staff?
Just one question, and maybe it'll be discussed later. I was just curious on the sidewalk, I guess on the east side of the property, if that would be extended to the south. Because I know there's an existing sidewalk that ends at one of the drives that comes off of Euclid. But if those two drives are removed, is that sidewalk going to be continued? Yeah, through that.
Right through that area?
Property line, yeah.
Yes, the plan is to extend that sidewalk.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I'd like to ask a question here. The gentleman in one of these meetings before is Chris Thomas, and I see he's written a letter because he's unable to attend. I wanted to just correctly, it looks like the writing here that street will be closed for access to the west side of the parking property, and only one entrance will come off it for the hospital parking off of South Street. I just wanted to see if this occurred, assures those neighbors that they will have the privacy that they're seeking.
Yes, for the point of access, if I'm following, yes, will be strictly from South Street. And the entrances there on Euclid will be eliminated. So the only trespass of vehicle headlights and movement will be strictly from the parking lot.
It's nice that the hospital has agreed with that, and I hope that we totally agree too. No other comments?
All right, so is there anyone here who would like to speak on behalf of the project?
Yeah.
Would you please state your name and
Yes.
come up to the podium, please? Your name and address.
Apologies, this is new to me. My name is Mick Williams. I'm Executive Director of Sports Services at Cameron Hospital. I'd just like to thank the committee for hearing our case here. And as we continue to expand our services to meet the needs of the community, obviously parking is a concern, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to review this for us. That being said, as Brett had mentioned, we do have plans to add some additional ADA parking stalls. With the proposed lot, it wouldn't be necessarily beneficial to add them in that spot as it's not in close proximity to our facilities. That being said, we're going to add some additional on the front lot with the completion of the education center project and the parking lot that goes along with that. We're adding 4 additional parking stalls that are ADA compliant, which will put us well above the 10% required ADA stalls for our campus. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the petitioner? Okay, we'll close that section of the meeting. Okay, is there anyone for or against? Okay, we'll close that portion. All right, I guess we are ready for the act, is that correct?
Finding of fact for Cameron Memorial Community Hospital parking lot conversion, case number 2024 PC 10001 development plan. Number 1, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola's comprehensive plan.
It is.
Staff proposes the finding that adheres to objective 1.5 and principle 2. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Number 2, the development plan does or does not satisfy all applicable development standards of Division 2 of this title zoning district.
It does.
Staff proposes the finding that the development plan does or will satisfy the applicable development standards of this Division 2 of this title zoning district once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed. The use of parking lot independent is a permitted use in the IS zoning district.
Agreed.
Number 3, the development plan does or does not satisfy the applicable standards of Division 6 of this title development standards.
Does.
Staff proposes the finding that it will, such as parking, lighting, landscaping, et cetera, once all routing and plan review comments are adequately addressed.
Agreed.
Number 4, the development plan does or does not satisfy all applicable provisions of this title.
Does.
Staff proposes the finding that the development plan does or will satisfy once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
Agreed.
Number 5, the development plan does or does not satisfy the construction requirement of the City of Angola's construction standard.
It does.
Staff proposes the finding that once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed, it will.
Agreed.
Okay. So, ready for a motion?
Move to approve with the conditions of approval as outlined, that all outstanding plan review comments are addressed to staff satisfaction and that the parking lot complies with the ADA accessibility standards.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Are you ready for the next case?
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda is case number 2024 PC 11001, seeking development plan approval. The applicant was DA Brown Engineering Consultants, and the owner is 3M Investments, James Kirchhoff. Location is at 1030 South Wayne Street. The property is zoned R5, high-density multifamily residential district. Hearing date is today's date, November 12th. Legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on November 1st, and 17 property owners within 300 feet were sent their legal notice on October 31st. Project or applicable code provisions is Title 18 of the UDO and Indiana Code Development Plan 36-7-4-1400 series. It is not located within the floodplain, and staff recommendation is conditional approval. Wayne Street Commons acquired a 1 acre vacant parcel along South Wayne Street in August 2024. The property, which previously housed a dilapidated single-family residence and accessory structure, is currently undergoing demolition and is pretty much wrapped up. Today, the petitioner proposes to develop 2 quadplexes to provide market rate housing and meet the growing demand of modern living options in the area. The proposed development plan aims to fully utilize the large residential parcels potential along South Wayne Street. The petitioner has successfully obtained all necessary approvals to bring this project to fruition. Approvals so far is the zoning map amendment presented to this board on September 9th and was heard its final reading by Common Council on October 21st. And then development standard variances and special exception use from the BZA on October 28th. Oh, bear with the mouse here. The proposed development is strategically positioned between existing high-density housing developments, Lakeland Apartments and Enterprise Point Apartments, in the southern part of the city. To optimize the site's terrain and put prominent location along South Wayne Street, the petitioner aims to maximize the available space by creating a more efficient and visually appealing development. The surrounding area showcases a blend of residential and commercial uses, and high-density nature of the proposed development aligns with the nearby apartment complexes. Next we move into the variances that were presented to the BZA. For special exception use and development standard variance request by the petitioner. First is the special exception use to permit a dwelling 4-family quadplex. Next was development standard variances, 1 for front yard setback that reduced from 30-foot requirement to become 5 feet. And then trash receptacle standards to permit a placement within a front yard. Next, we move into the site plan. Access to the Wayne Street Commons is directly across from Lang Lane via a new drive approach, ensuring safe vehicular traffic flow compared to the existing access points, which will be removed and converted to green space. Upon entering, residents and guests will find 24 parking stalls, 2 of which are ADA compliant. Beyond the parking lot are 2 quadplex structures are situated, separated by a common space that extends to a large rear yard featuring a pergola for communal use by all tenants. Both quadplex facilities will be identical, showcasing high-end materials like board and batten, cultured stone veneer, and vinyl shake. These two-story structures will house 2 units on the main level and 2 units on the second level. Accessible via a central foyer containing a stairwell. Each living quarter spans 953 square feet, offering 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, a utility room, a spacious open concept kitchen, dining room, and living room. Each unit will include ample storage, a washer dryer, a fireplace, and a private outdoor patio area. The rear yard, positioned away from the busy thoroughfare, provides ample common space for residents. A 256 square foot pergola offering additional outdoor living space is readily available for tenants' usage. Pedestrian pathways connect the parking lot to the quadplex structures and to this designated common space. To optimize the accessibility, safety, and density, the site plan strategically locates buildings and amenities. While the design prioritizes comfort and security, it requires placing the trash receptacle in the parking lot perimeter, which is located in the front yard. It is highlighted in the image to the left in somewhat of a purple color and circled by my cursor right now. Typically, developments are required to install sidewalks along public roadways such as South Wayne Street to facilitate pedestrian traffic. However, in this case, the existing sidewalk on the west side of South Wayne Street terminates at the intersection of South Wayne and Felicity, which is significantly north of the proposed development. Wayne Street Commons, intends to leverage on the extension of the Pocobosh Connector Trail, which will run along the east side of South Wayne Street. This trail extension will connect to the existing trail and extend to the southern city limits. Construction is set to begin on this project towards the end of 2025. A landscaping plan integrates a variety of shrubs and trees to create a substantial buffer between the property and the commercial use to the north. Additionally, extensive planning is proposed for the remaining perimeter facing the institutional district. By strategically increasing the number and density of trees and shrubs, the plan aims to dramatically enhance the property's aesthetic appeal, especially considering its location along South Wayne Street. Next are a few images that were captured from last week of the site undergoing the demolition. Contextual zoning and land use, as mentioned, this property is zoned R5, high density, single family residential. To the north, you have the Angola CDJR dealership and traditional residential. To the east, you have C2 commercial automotive sales and repair and PD district of Steuben County EDC, Rise and Enterprise Point apartments. To the south, you have C1 commercial, R4 residential and institutional district of the Pleasant View Church of Christ. And to the west, you have traditional residential and R5 housing like Lakeland Apartments and institutional zone district. The project speaks to the comprehensive plan of objective 1.5, strongly encourage redevelopment of underutilized vacant or abandoned structures and lots. And objective 1.7, encourage infill development directly, commercial and residential growth inside corporate limits. And 1.14 of continue redevelopment of existing underutilized properties along South Wayne Street. As of today's date, there's been no public input as a result of the legal notices being sent. And in conclusion, staff is supportive of the request. Developing this property takes an existing underutilized deteriorating property along South Wayne Street and provides much needed housing option within city limits. The proposed development aligns with the district's intent and special exception use, contributing positively to the neighbor's mixed residential character. Staff recommends conditional approval of this project that all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed. Any questions for staff?
All right, is there anyone here who would like to speak on behalf of the project, please? If so, state your name and address, please.
Hello, I'm Jim Kirchhoff. I live at 300 Lane, 650 AD, Snow Lake. And this is, I guess, our last meeting of the whole process here. I didn't know that if anybody really seen like a colored drawing of how these units will look, but putting a metal roof on and using stone and stuff like that, I think is really going to look nice when it's all said and done. So I really don't have anything to add that you guys haven't already seen. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything that you got.
I have one, sorry. I have one question. Is the billboard, is that going to be?
The billboard is staying there.
That is-
There's a long-term lease when we bought it on it, which
Okay.
that's kind of the parking lot, and the trash dumpster is going to be in there with some fence and stuff right by that billboard. So it's right at the edge of the parking lot. It really didn't affect us getting any spaces. So the people that own that are not very cooperative. So
I was just gonna ask if I could have a copy of that so I can.
yeah,
I'll get it.
sure.
Thank you.
You can pass this one, Jim, on this side if they want to look at that.
Is there any other questions?
We got any problem with that location? I know the ground was low a long time ago because it was an old junkyard here way back in the 40s. And I know that, do you have any problem with drainage at that low point?
We won't have the problem with the drainage, and we've spoke with the people that own the car dealership there, which their drainage is not draining the way it should be. That ditch naturally fills up with water, and us building this building, we contacted them because it's some of that ditches, most of that ditch is on their property, and got their permission to address the ditch when we address our footprint and doing our dirt work in there. So as far as any drainage issues, it's all going to drain to that ditch, but that ditch will drain properly now when we're said and done. So I don't think there's any really drainage issues. The issue we kind of got surprised with was there was a basement underneath that. So when we went to tear that all down, there was a basement with no stairs in the house. It was underneath all the wood planks and stuff, apparently one long time ago. So we got about a $10,000 surprise by having to tear all the basement out and filling it all back in and compacting it all in. So that was a surprise. But as far as the overall drainage for that, the building pads will be set and the drainage will be routed towards that ditch and also towards the big manhole that's up in front that takes it from the road and takes it down.
I know when this come up before, I said afterwards, I said, whoever bought it, they got a surprise coming, because I said, I know what was there. This old man's been around a long time. I know when you got in there, you were facing problems.
Yeah, we found some buried treasures. I mean, that went in the dumpsters, but yeah, it was quite the thing. But yeah, the biggest thing was the basement. When we got to there was like no signs of it. And I guess that when we done some research, that an older plat plan showed that there was a basement there, which the current stuff didn't show anything like that. But as we started digging in it, we found it. Yeah.
I'm laughing because I knew it was going to happen.
It's not always as easy as what everybody seems. You know, it's not like you just go in there and everything runs perfect. So, hopefully we won't have any more hidden surprises with anything on the project, but I think we're pretty much past that now. And we're set to do actually the pads and all the stuff. Hopefully get permits yet later on in the week and then get the pads in before winter to have this project come online for the 1st of August to have it ready to be rented out. So.
When you were demoing the house, was there any septic fields or a well or anything?
There wasn't. Somebody made a mention that maybe the health department thought there was, but there was no well or anything there. We thought at one point when we hit into a line that there was an old cistern there, but when we dug through, there was nothing else. So yeah, the only thing that was left there was a stub gas line that was terminated across the street.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, is there anybody here who would like to speak against the project? Or for the project? Good catch. Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to finding of facts.
Okay. Finding the facts for Wayne Street Commons, case number 2024 PC 11001. Number one, the development plan is or is not consistent with the City of Angola's comprehensive plan. Staff proposes the finding because it speaks to objectives 1.5, 1.7, and 1.14 is in support of this type of development. Number two, the development plan does or does not satisfy all applicable development standards of this division of zoning districts. Staff proposes the finding that once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed, the use of dwelling four-family quadplex is permitted in the R5 zoning district with approval from the BZA on October 28, 2024. Number three, the development plan does or does not satisfy all applicable standards of Division 6 of this title, development standards. Staff proposes the finding that because all conflicting development standards were granted relief from the BZA on October 28, 2024. Additionally, once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed. Number four, the development plan does or does not satisfy all applicable provisions of this title. Staff proposes the finding that the development plan does or will satisfy all applicable provisions of this title once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed. Lastly, number five, the development plan does or does not satisfy the construction requirements of the City of Angola's construction standards. Staff proposes the finding that the development does or will satisfy all applicable construction requirements once all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Okay. And with conditions, Burrow?
With conditions,
Okay.
be fine.
And second? Okay. Those in favor say aye.
I,
Those opposed? Okay, motion is granted.
Thank you, Dr.
No.
No? All right.
Let's be right in between.
All right. Moving on to the last agenda item of this evening is case number 2024 PC 11002. Application type is primary plat. The applicant is T&E Incorporated and the owner is Meyer Store Limited Partnership. The location is at 2990 North Wayne Street. The current zoning is C2, medium to large general commercial. Meeting date is today's date, November 12, 2024, and legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on November 1st, and 21 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent their legal notice on October 31st, 2024. Applicable code is Title 18 of the UDO and Indiana Code Subdivision Control 3674700 series. This project is not located within the floodplain, and the staff recommendation is conditional approval. In the late 1990s, Meyer acquired 35.78 acres of land along North Wayne Street near Wendell Jacob Avenue to construct a large retail store. Since then, Meyer has gradually sold off outlots within the development. Notable examples of recent development of these outlots include the Tres Rios subdivision of Three Rivers Federal Credit Union, outlined in teal or blue, and the coffee shop development, Starbucks, outlined in yellow in the image below. Today, Meyer Store continues to actively advertise They're privately owned lots for sale. The petitioner aims to follow the trend of recent developments and capitalize on a vacant 1.825 acre parcel of land currently designated as Outlot C for future development of a large box store. Since these lots are not part of an existing plat, they must be platted accordingly to be legally owned and subdivided by another party. Outlot C is shown in the aerial image there in green. Next, the site plan. The proposed development entails the platting of a 1.825 acre lot situated along the northern portion of the Meyer parking lot. This new lot, bordered by Meyer Drive and Boyer Way, is intended for medium-intensity retail use consistent with the C2 zoning district. The development will utilize existing easements and private infrastructure. Maybe with the mouse. Next, we move into site images. Most are familiar with this parcel of land. It's basically going around the whole development from the Meyer parking lot, Boyer Way, and Meyer Drive. All right, next we move into the zoning and land use. As mentioned, this property is zone C2, medium to large general commercial. To the north, you have Kohl's, Menards, Applebee's, Bell Tire, and other commercial businesses. To the east is Meyer, Saranova Development, agricultural vacant land in the ETJ, and residential ETJ properties. To the south, you have Meyer, the Saranova Development, Zone C2, and commercial use. And to the west, you have Starbucks, and then across North Wayne, Vestal, and other industrial. This project speaks to the comprehensive plan of Principle 1, Objective 1.5, strongly encourage redevelopment of underutilized lots. And Objective 1.7, encourage infill development of commercial use within corporate limits, as well as Principle 5, Objective 5.3, ensure that shovel-ready sites are available for businesses and industrial growth. And Objective 5.7, increase efforts to attract and retain businesses. As of today's date, there's been no feedback from the public or legal notices being mailed. And in conclusion, the staff is supportive of the request. The development of this property further connects and intensifies our commercial development to the north. Additionally, the property can accommodate development standards and supports the Angola Comprehensive Plan to attract businesses with underutilized shovel-ready lots. Staff recommends conditional approval of this project that all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed. Any questions for staff? Did you have a question? No? Okay.
Okay, hearing none, then we'll move on to the petitioner. Is there someone who would like to speak for the project, please? If so, state your name and address.
I'm Zach Essence with TE Incorporated, 8620 Bluffton Road. I think Brett's pretty much covered everything. It's a one lot minor subdivision for future development of TJ Maxx. Development plans have been submitted and that should be reviewed under the next meeting.
Any questions? Thank you. Is there anybody here who would like to speak for or against the project? Okay. Hearing none, I guess we'll move on to the findings of fact.
All right, finding the facts for the Angola Meyer TJ Maxx subdivision, case number 2024, PC 11002, primary plat. Number one, the subdivision of land is consistent with the Angola Comprehensive Plan. Staff proposes finding that it is consistent with the Angola Comprehensive Plan objectives 1.5, 1.7, 5.3, and 5.7. Number two, the subdivision of land satisfies the development requirements of Division 4 of this title, subdivisions. Angola Meyer TGMX subdivision will satisfy the subdivision requirements established in Division 4 subdivision titles for a commercial development with no foreseeable variances. Once plan review and comments and conditions of approval are adequately addressed. Number 3, the subdivision of land satisfies the standards of Division 5 of this title, design standards. Staff proposes the finding that it will, once all plan review comments and conditions of approval are adequately addressed, the internal drive is private. All right, number 4, the subdivision of land satisfies any other applicable provisions of this title. Staff proposes the finding that the TGMX subdivision will satisfy other applicable provisions of the Unified Development Ordinance. The property will be developed in a manner consistent to complement the surrounding character once all plan review comments and conditional approval are adequately addressed. Number 5, the subdivision of land satisfies the construction requirements of the City of Angola's construction standards. The Angola Meyer TGMX subdivision is honoring easements and setbacks of those easements and setbacks to those easements that serve the area, but any future construction will satisfy the construction requirements of the City of Angola.
That being said, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve with the conditions of approval that all plan review and routing comments are adequately addressed to staff's satisfaction.
Second.
Okay, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Granted. Okay, anything else on the agenda?
No other reports to my knowledge. There will be a December 9th Plan Commission meeting as referenced by the gentleman earlier. I believe we have one, maybe 2 cases that evening. I can't remember, but one for others for sure on that. So that'll be on December 9th.
Hearing that? We are dismissed.
All right.
Find out about that. You know, once we finish everything.